Hi everyone, so in today's video I'm going to show you how to make cuts. I'll be using two methods. Ideally for stage you should be using pre-made prosthetics, but this is again if you don't have the budget to actually get a makeup artist to do this. If you need a small scar or a cut, this is the way to do it. Scar wax is actually this little putty that sticks to the skin and then you can make indentations in it. And it just looks like your skin has been raised, and that's what makes it look realistic and gives that 3D effect at the same time. So to create this cut, we're going to need Vaseline, earbuds, the scar wax, and also some cream. So before I can actually use the scar wax, I'm going to apply this moisturizer to my hands because scar wax is incredibly sticky and you don't want it to stick to your hands where you don't want it to be stuck. This is the area that I'm going to be applying my prosthetics on because this is a flatter area and so the scar wax will stick better. If you are doing it on a softer area like your cheek or somewhere where there isn't bone or muscle to hold it, it might not stay as well. And also before applying the scar wax, if you can, apply some spirit gum or Prozaid, which will help it to stick better. So now I'm going to split this into two approximate halves. Roll out a thin strip and place that on my forearm and just pat that down a little bit. I definitely recommend using spirit gum or Prozaid to actually get it down there. And also I like to press it and blend it slightly at the edges before I even start blending it away properly. So to blend it out, I actually find that the easiest way to get a seamless finish is to use a cotton bud dipped in Vaseline and very gently go along the edges. It's okay if you have some lines now because you can always blend that out later. And this is also a very nice way to do scars, because as you can see, this looks like puckered skin. So if it's a little messy at first, that's fine. You can always go in and smoothen it. And just blending that in so there's no harsh edge. So once that's blended, I'm going to take this, roll out another one exactly the same size, and then do the same thing on this side. So once again, I'm just pushing down the edges so it's easier to control while blending out. And then using that same cotton bud with the Vaseline, so now I'm actually going to take some liquid latex just to seal that in. Please patch test yourself before using liquid latex. You don't want to have an allergic reaction on the actual day. As of now, the scar wax can still move if someone touches it or if you brush against something accidentally. So I'm just going to feather out the edges over here so that you can't really see the difference in the skin. This will dry clear. And again, always patch test yourself. If you're allergic to any of these materials, don't attempt to use them on yourself or on anyone else. So that's going to be more secure with its shape now. So while that's drying, I'm going to show you another method of using scar wax, where I've just taken a piece about that big and put it on my palm and blended it from all directions. Here I've only blended one edge and then put the other one here and joined it. This one I've blended all around and smoothened it out so it looks raised, but it also looks like it's still part of the skin. So now I'm going to take my sculpting tool, and that's how it looks, this curved edge. You can use anything, you can use a safety pin, a pencil, whatever you want. And I'm just going to carve out, and be careful while you're doing this, you don't want it to tear. So now it looks like a huge chunk of skin was taken out, and I want to blend it slightly here so that still looks natural. And once I'm happy with that and the edges that I've got, I'm going to stipple liquid latex on top of this one as well, and then we'll move on to coloring both of them. You don't need all of these, I'm going to be using all of these, but you do need a foundation that matches your skin tone so that you can blend it into your skin. You don't necessarily need fake blood, it depends on the cut, but I have some here. I have two types. I have coagulated blood and squirt blood, a bunch of brushes, and I also have this kit so that I can use this red pigment to fill in the cut. So first I'll be using the foundation to blend that in. Now this isn't an exact match to my palm. This is a little bit darker than the rest of my skin, so I would recommend finding an exact match. Then I'm going to use this brush, which already has a little bit of this red pigment on it, and just lightly tap so that the area around the cut looks irritated and inflamed. So now I'm going to take some of this red pigment and go inside the cut. And something that you should know about cuts and wounds is that the deeper you go into the skin, the darker that's going to look. So to create that depth effect, we're going to have to add a little bit of black or purple or maroon in the areas that we want it to look. So I'm going to fill this in. And now I'm actually going to use some of this dark purple maroon color and mix that with a little bit of black eyeshadow and fill in the areas where we think it's going to be the deepest. So for this cut, this entire side is deeper than it is here. Here, I would prefer to focus it on the edges. We're going to be covering both of these in fake blood anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you shade it that much, but I like to shade them because it makes it look more realistic. I'm actually going to use the coagulated blood because it's a lot stickier and it'll stay in place. The squirt blood is quite runny, so you wouldn't find that packed into a wound. It's the kind of blood that would drip down. As I mentioned before actually creating your cuts, you need to look at a reference image and research what caused the cut and what part of the body it's on. so that you can see how the skin would actually react if these injuries were to take place.